Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Shambhavi Seth and I'm a developmental and behavioral pediatrician. And today in this video, I'll be talking about a common case scenario in a pediatric office practice of a child with language delay. This is something which we encounter on a regular basis, and this is a case scenario of a 2-year-old male child who was brought with complaints of URI, but mother also mentions that he has not started to talk yet. He speaks only mama, papa, water, and she feels other children of his age are talking much more. He is otherwise an active child and is physically fit. There is also a history of father speaking late in his childhood. So a common scenario we encounter in our practices, it can turn out anything from a mild language delay to autism, but how do we approach any child who has presented with a language developmental problem in practice? So to understand that, we have to understand the basics of language. So there are three terminologies which we use: communication, language, and speech. Though there is an overlap, like you can see in the diagram, but it is not interchangeable. So starting with communication, in simple words, communication is exchange of information between two people, which is meaningful. So for instance, a person enters the room and I just smile and, my facial expression may be welcoming or unwelcoming, and the person may know even without speaking anything. So in a class, a lot of children are sitting and the teacher is teaching a boring topic, and a lot of students will start exchanging glances because they understand it's boring for them also. So each other also, without even uttering a word. So this is all which is a non-verbal communication, which has a meaning. It is occurring between the two people. So when this verbal communication becomes verbal, we need a certain language or certain set of rules which that language follows. So for example, I say, I want apple. That apple or that I want apple has a distinct meaning. Apple in English will mean a red fruit. It cannot mean a banana. It cannot mean water. So when a certain rule or a certain code is being assigned to the words which we so speak, even as the way we are expressing it in the written form or the speech form, or even the sign form, the sign language, it becomes language. And speech is just the oromotor part of spoken language. That part only is the speech. So like I mentioned, the communication will encompass language and speech as well, and language encompass speech. So exchange of information between two people, meaningful, non-verbal, verbal is communication. Receptive communication and expressive communication. So by receptive communication or language, I mean, if I tell a child, please give me water, the child should be able to understand, hear what is being said first, understand the meaning of, and then execute that action. So that's a receptive communication. In expressive communication, a child can just express his needs in terms of verbal language, like I want water. The child is wanting water and there is a certain meaning to it. So language, I said, is a defined code. Then the communication becomes language, and the speech is the spoken part of the language. So just a little more about non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication can happen through our eye contact, where we are not speaking anything. Facial expressions, children start to read around 6 months, and they are able to know whether the mother is in a, like a happy or is going to feed me, that expression. Joint attention, which develops around 8 to 10 months of life. The child it's a very important milestone in the social emotional development of child. And at this age, the child is able to understand. So if a mother gives the child a rattle, the child is happy to look at the rattle, but the child also will exchange the glance with the mother and is understanding the mother is the providing this rattle, and the child is going to have a triangle which is being formed with the eye of the child, the rattle, and the mother. And so this is a joint attention. Again, very important, and a lot of children with autism would have a lack of joint attention. So as the child grows older, around 12 to 15 months of age, the child may start pointing, and the child may not have good vocabulary of words of things around. So if they want water, they may just say, and the mother understands the child wants water. Symbolic gestures, again, a mature gesture where a child, again, who doesn't have vocabulary may start using these kind of gestures for food, or this is for water, or open. Social gestures like thumbs up, older children may do this, and like just a wink to say it's right. So these kind of gestures gradually start maturing as the child is growing from 2 to 4 months or 12 to 16 months, and in different phases of life these gestures appear. So understand the child is having a language delay. We need to understand when to quantify or qualify it as delay. So there are certain milestones which have to be achieved. If the child has not achieved them, the upper limits of those, then the child will be qualified for delay. So no babbling by 1 year of age, no single meaningful words by 18 months of age, a word vocabulary of less than 20 words by 2 years of age, not joining 2-word phrases like pani de do, bahar chalo by 2.5 years of age. So any child you see in the OPD, if he or she has this kind of thing, any of this, the child will qualify as delay and the child has to be worked upon. That's a separate thing, whether it is autism, it is just a maturational delay or just expressive language disorder, but this child needs to be worked on. So coming to disorders, which we see in our OPD practices, disorders of communication, autism spectrum disorder is very commonly seen, and a lot of us know about, a lot of pediatricians are already aware about it. The child would have a deficit in social communication core area, and the child would have some core B features, which are repetitive behavior, sensory issues, routines, ritual, restricted interest. Apart from autism spectrum disorder, communication disorders as per DSM-5 also covers other disorders which we should be aware of. Social communication disorder, it may have impairment of communication like children with autism, but a lot of other core B features like repetitive behavior, sensory issues are all not present in those children. Language disorders can be a receptive, expressive language disorder where both receptive and expressive component is not developed properly as per age, or expressive language disorder where the child is able to understand, comprehend, follow instructions, but when it comes to expression, the child may have a problem there. Speech sound disorder, where problem is more with the production of speech. So the articulators, different muscles which are there in the mouth area, mouth region, they may not be working very properly. Though the language content may be there, but the child may not sound very clear. Fluency disorder, the child's speech fluency, the fluency of the speech is not proper, so the child may stutter or stammer, like we say. And the other causes could be of language delay, could be a hearing loss. Global developmental delay, a child may have delay in language domains and other domains as well. And a child may be intellectual disability more than 5 years if the child is. Selective mutism, where the child may have a selective mutism in certain social situations. For example, at home they may be talking a lot, but the moment they in the school they may just be mute. Maturational delay, where the child may just have an expressive language delay. It is just a maturational delay in the language process. These children are relatively benign and they may come out with normal language before the school going years. Psychosocial deprivation, where the child is neglected. There may be families, nuclear families where the parents are working long hours, child is left with nanny or in a daycare, has excessive screen time exposure, has not been stimulated enough, may develop a language delay. So what are the differentials? When we see a child with expressive delay, if we talk about nonverbal communication, receptive, it will be good. It will be only an expressive language delay. Child with hearing loss, the non-verbal will be good, deficits in receptive and expressive verbal. Child with autism, there will be deficits in non-verbal, receptive, expressive verbal. Child with intellectual disability, both receptive and expressive may be delayed, only expressive may be delayed. And more importantly, the children may have other delays in other domains as well. So how do we approach when we see a child with a communication delay? First thing which now we should look at is the non-verbal communication of that child. If it is impaired, then the child may fit into autism or a social communication disorder. Then we look for a delay, whether if it is predominantly receptive expressive or it is only expressive. So the child who has a receptive and expressive delay as well should go for an audiological evaluation as early as possible. Hearing loss can be picked up. Even children who are of autism who may be missed early may kind of be evaluated later on, may fall into this category. Children of a more severe global delay may fall into this category. Whereas a child who has a predominantly expressive delay, but a good nonverbal, a good receptive, we are in a better spot. The child may just be a maturational delay with a little bit of environmental modifications. He may come out well. Child may just have an expressive language disorder. He may need speech therapy or language intervention, but the prognosis becomes better, or it may have a mild global delay. But in all the scenarios, the reviewing of environment is very, very important. How has been the stimulation of the child, and what is the screen time, etc. So the take-home message would be screen, but do not put a label. Anytime the child is picked up, a detailed assessment should be done in all domains, and intervention has to be planned irrespective whether we are able to reach the diagnosis, because whatever interventions are done are based on the current level. If there is a delay, whether we are debating it as an autism, it is a social communication or anything else, but the delay is there, the interventions have to be started. Referring only for speech therapy is not the solution. Children who may have a poor nonverbal communication, if we just start with speech therapy, they may really struggle. And unless that nonverbal communication is kind of addressed, the speech therapy is not going to help. Many times in cases, the environmental modifications really help. Parent training is very, very crucial, because the parent and the person who's dealing with the child has to be on the same page. So the parent training becomes a crucial part. So thank you, everyone. I hope this webinar, this small presentation was helpful. And if there's any difficulty, you can reach out to me. And thank you again.